Did you know that between 2010 and 2023, the global population increased 15.17%, going from just under 7 billion people to over 8 billion, with an average growth rate of 1.04%. However, despite this increase, not every country is gaining population. In fact, some are seeing the complete opposite, declines in their population. But why is this? We're going to look at the world's fastest dying countries and the reasons for their declining populations. Number 8. Bulgaria. Bulgaria may have joined the European Union in 2007, but it has struggled to keep pace with the rest of Europe economically. In fact, it's known as the poorest country in the EU, and that may be driving a decline in its population, with the country seeing a negative 0.81% average population change between 2010 and 2020. That trend has continued, with a negative 1.51% and negative 1.39% population decline in 2022 and 2023, respectively. In fact, Bulgaria's economy has consistently struggled, leading people to seek work opportunities abroad. And most of these people have university degrees and are working professionals, leading to lots of brain drain, or in other words, the emigration of highly trained or intelligent people from a particular country. I will note that Bulgaria's population increased slightly when Bulgarians came back to the country during the pandemic. However, it seems that was an outlier. Number 7. Italy. Italy may be one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, but despite this, locals don't seem to want to stick around. In fact, Italy's population decreased from about 59.8 million in 2010 to approximately 59.5 million people in 2020, with a negative 0.1% average population change during this period. However, this population decline has sped up in recent years, with Italy seeing a negative 0.34% population decline in 2022 and 0.28% in 2023. Most of those leaving are young people who are pursuing a better quality of life abroad and who are trying to flee the high cost of living and lack of affordable housing in Italy. Additionally, Italy has suffered from a high unemployment rate amongst young people in recent years, and the fact that things still aren't improving has caused many young Italians to simply get fed up and leave. Number 6. Croatia. Croatia is a popular travel destination in Europe, with numerous people visiting places like Dubrovnik and Zagreb each year. The country is filled with so much history, scenic beauty, and interesting architecture that Game of Thrones was even filmed in Dubrovnik. But while it might see its fair share of tourists and films, Croatia's own residents are struggling more than most people are probably aware. For instance, Croatia saw a negative 0.61% average change in its population between 2010 and 2020. To put things further into perspective, the population has seen a negative 0.73% change in 2022 and negative 0.54% in 2023. Most of the reason for this is that the country's economy has struggled in recent years, leading many people to leave the country and find work elsewhere. One recent survey even found that 1 out of every 2 young people in Croatia have thought about moving out of the country. An additional factor is the fact that death rates are outpacing birth rates, contributing to the decline in population. Number 5. Lithuania. Located in northeastern Europe, Lithuania is the largest country of all of the Baltic states. After being occupied by one country in the late 1700s, by Germany during World War II, and becoming a part of the USSR in the mid-40s, Lithuania finally achieved independence in 1990. Shortly thereafter, it joined the EU. But although it has found success in its independence, it has not found success in retaining its population. Between 2010 and 2020, Lithuania saw a negative 1.1% average population change. In 2022, that number was negative 1.31%, and in 2023, negative 1.15%. Most of this is due to death rates outpacing birth rates and people leaving to find work opportunities elsewhere, as seems to be a common theme on this list. In fact, people are leaving Lithuania because wages and the standard of living here is way behind what is typical in Western Europe. That said, this country might be one of the few that has positive things in its future, as the country's net migration was positive in 2021 for the first time in the past 30-some years. Additionally, Lithuania's wages are slowly increasing to be closer to those of the rest of Europe, so it's possible that Lithuania's population decline may at some point reverse. Number 4. Latvia. Latvia saw a negative 1.03% average change in its population between 2010 and 2020. Furthermore, the population change in 2022 was negative 1.24%, and in 2023, negative 1.1%. Like we've seen with so many other countries on this list, one of the main reasons for Latvia's negative population change is the fact that the country has been seeing more deaths than births. Additionally, people in Latvia are moving to other countries in Europe with better opportunities. Specifically, like Lithuania, the income in Latvia is much less than that of many other European countries, so people are frequently leaving in search of better wages. Number 3. Puerto Rico. As you probably are aware, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. This means that the locals are American citizens and U.S. citizens can travel to and from the island without a passport. But even though Puerto Rico has beautiful beaches and lots of natural beauty, it saw an average population change of negative 1.17% from 2010 to 2020. And in 2022, it saw a negative 0.11% population change. However, Puerto Rico may be turning things around as it has had a 0.24% population increase in 2023 thus far. Some of these other countries should take notes. There are a couple of reasons for Puerto Rico's notable decline. For starters, there are better economic opportunities and higher-paying jobs outside of the country. And because residents can live and work in the mainland U.S., many of them do just that. In fact, today, more Puerto Ricans live in the U.S. than in Puerto Rico itself. Another reason people have been leaving is to flee natural disasters like the all-too-frequent hurricanes that hit here. With this loss in population, though, Puerto Rico's education system in particular has taken a hit. For instance, the University of Puerto Rico has lost a significant amount of funding, and the number of public schools in Puerto Rico has decreased. Number 2. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Most people know this country just as Bosnia, but its official name is actually Bosnia and Herzegovina. The country is located in southeastern Europe along the scenic Adriatic Sea. Between 2010 and 2020, this country saw a negative 1.4% average change in its population. In 2022, the population saw a negative 1.14% change, and in 2023, a negative 0.7% change. As we've seen so much already, that's because the country's natural growth rate is declining and people are simply choosing to move elsewhere. In fact, like Croatia, nearly 1 out of every 2, or 47% of those ages 18 to 29, have thought about moving abroad for work opportunities. That's equal to about 269,000 people. An additional reason young people in particular want to move is because of dissatisfaction with public services and corruption in the country. Number 1. Marshall Islands. Top on our list is the Marshall Islands. Located in the Central Pacific, the Marshall Islands is made up of 5 islands and 29 atolls, or island chains, all in totaling about 1,225 islands. But although there may be a lot of islands, there aren't a lot of people. The population is small to begin with only about 42,000 people as of 2023. But this number has decreased significantly in recent years, seeing a negative 1.9% average population change between 2010 and 2020. In 2022,